Let me get this straight. You blew up a building.
2 CIs and the CEO of 22andU.
2 competing federal agencies with the same mission.
I don't understand why those Fed a-holes are so darn mean.
To protect the public from the scourge of dangerous misinformation.
You know those bum idiots. This is all them. We had a solid case.
The word entrapment, not even in their vocabulary.
The explosives we provided were fake.
Sworn to a duty to always tell the truth.
We have no indication at this time that this was a deliberate act.
We're all being transferred.
To where?
The only place currently with openings. Alaska.
Good morning.
Welcome to the office, huh?
And we got the retro feel. You know, the funny about federal buildings, they're all different, but they're still somehow all the same.
Oh, good morning, Agent Walker. At the coffee station. We actually drew straws before he got here, and I won, so we get to work together.
Let's get started. Let's see if we can't stir something up.
Let's give it a minute. I like to warm up the truth muscles a little coffee beforehand.
Well, what do you want to do first?
What do we have for a surveillance van?
Oh, wow. I got a Ford Explorer. We don't have a surveillance van.
Do you put up many cases here?
Cases?
Yeah, cases. We're the tip of the spear when it comes to protecting American democracy.
You really believe this? You really believe that people posting crap online is going to cause our country to crumble?
I think the work that we do is important.
We don't have a surveillance van.
Missing people got one. We've never needed one.
We need a surveillance van. We need a big case or a CI who can lead us to a big case.
What do you need the van for?
Surveillance.
CIs, or confidential informants, are the lifeblood of any good law enforcement agency. Public posts on social media are one of the best ways to find CIs. Agents would never use coercion or take things out of context to try and persuade someone to become a confidential informant.
The new Taylor Swift single is absolute fire. I'm just seeing a lot of incendiary and violent language here.
Agents always need to be on their toes and ready to make snap decisions.
Is there anything I can do for you guys? Actually, David, there is something you can do for us.
Chicky nuggies.
Chicky nuggies.
What?
Cheeseburger.
Cheeseburger. McDonald's cheeseburger.
Burger King.
Burger King cheeseburger.
Flame broiled.
Chicken nugget.
Oh, baby, know you're gonna like it. I wanna be your beaver pilot. Said, honey, know you're gonna like it. I wanna be.
Awesome, right?
Is this a loner?
This thing's totally legit.
What is this? It's got windows!
What is up? Oh my goodness. I realized with like 15 seconds to go that I did not have my mic up. And in order to make the mic work, I've got to like move some stuff. And, I have to do a few things. So I was panicking there a little bit. It doesn't look like it now because I got it up like right then. But oh my goodness, that was crazy. I was like, whoa, hurry up, get it up. That didn't sound right. Get the mic going. That's what I meant. Get the mic going. I have to plug in my little amplifier tube preamp, and I needed to, then I've got to do something in the software that takes a minute or a second. And so I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm not going to make it. But then I did. It's always something. It's always something. Well, welcome tonight. Interesting day today in court. Remember on July 4th, though, we have the premiere of the show. Mistakes Were Made. I will be taking tomorrow. Instead of doing this, I will be taking tomorrow to edit. So I will not be on. I will be concentrating on editing. But I did I actually edited last night after the show. I got in there, edited some of the show, got pretty much one of the scenes pretty much finalized up. I got to find some music and maybe some music and something else. I don't know. We'll see. Just a few little transitions. Maybe if I got time, I'll clean up and just instead of using regular transitions, I'll use some fancy transitions. But we'll see. We'll see if we get to the fancy transition part or not. That takes time. It really does. It really does take time to get the fancy transmissions. Yeah. So, and then in other news, that means nothing to anybody. My taskbar is working again. Yeah, I know that didn't mean anything to you. I like to hide my taskbar in Windows. And I will show you here. So I got this big, huge screen here, right? And then, so you see, this is my, here is my setup. And then on this side is, right now, it is my microphone stuff, which I can hide. So there is the thing. And then down here is the taskbar. And I always like to hide it. But for some reason, it stopped working the other day. Like, and I went on Microsoft.com, went to the forums, and other people were saying, hey, my taskbar is not, it would get hidden behind, if you had these tasks all the way down to the base, it wouldn't come back up. So I'm like, what the crap is going on? So I went, and there was other people complaining about it. And then I realized today it started working again. Just out of the blue, started working again. Just like it died, it came back. So I'm in a celebratory mood tonight. We'll have our water. I don't like the folks at the waterfall on January 28th, as we found out today with one of the witnesses. So yeah, let's get into it because we've got a lot to do tonight. First off, let me show you this too. We've got the list, folks. This is the list. This is all of the witnesses that have testified so far in this case. This is the list. So what we got to do is figure out who's top crazy on this list. Who is the top crazy one? I got some ideas. I have some ideas, but you never know. So let's see. I know who's probably on the bottom of the list too, who's the least crazy ones. And those have been over the last couple of days. So maybe actually some of the witnesses today might be the best ones yet. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, so all right, let's get cracking. I'm going to stop that share. All right, and I'm going to share this, and we'll kick it off again with Miss Andrea Burkhart, because that's who I watch between Andrea Burkhart and Emily Baker. I do. I appreciate I appreciate them both for different reasons. I appreciate Andrea's. I appreciate both of their knowledge. Right, they're both extremely knowledgeable in the law, and they're both, been practicing criminal attorneys, right? And Andrea doing a lot of appeal work, and so she's really tuned in, especially when they start talking about other cases and case law and different functions of the law, where Emily has been a prosecutor And I switched just as I was talking about the other one. So Emily's been a prosecutor, so she basically has a prosecutor's mind. So, but I appreciate both, and then I appreciate Emily because she stops it and talks, and I appreciate Andrea because she just lets it go from the get-go, right? Like you are on time with Andrea. Hello. Hey to you. Oh, yep. Hey. So with Andrea, you get very good commentary, but you get live feed. With Emily, it's going to take a while. It's going to take longer than the trial is because she's going to stop and she's going to thing. And then Kurt yesterday, I know we were trying to find Kurt's, thing where he went off. And then I found a different one where he went off about people complaining about him talking over whatever. And he said, well, start your own channel and do it yourself. And, Emily has got that stuff down. She knows exactly when to stop, to back up, to do it. She is the master. She is the queen, whatever. I mean, who knows? No, she is the queen of that. She knows exactly how to stop the footage. She knows exactly where to stop. She knows, so it's fun watching though. So, okay. So that's my reasoning. So, okay. So we get Lucky Loughran. So let's let Lucky introduce himself here.
Yes.
Good morning, sir. In a good loud voice, would you please state your name and spell your last name?
Sure, it's Brian Loughran, Loughran.
In what town do you live, sir?
I live in Canton.
Where did you grow up?
In Canton.
How long have you lived in Canton?
All my life.
Did you attend Canton Public Schools?
Yes, I did.
Through which grade?
I graduated from Canton High School.
What year did you graduate?
1990.
I was wondering, him and I are very close in age, I believe. All right, speed it up here.
You have brothers and sisters?
Yes.
How many?
I have two brothers and one sister.
What are their names?
Christopher, Michelle, and Michael.
And where do you fit in the order?
I fit in between Michelle and Michael.
You're the second youngest?
Correct.
He's the middle kid. All right, middle.
How old is your brother Michael?
Michael is 53.
What does he do for work?
He owns his own driving school, and he was a member of the select board.
And you say he owns his own driving school in which town?
Canton.
And you mentioned that he's a member of the select board for which town?
Town of Canton.
No
and
kidding.
What is the select board in Canton?
It's the governing body for the town.
So Lucky has been in Canton all his life.
It's Albert,
huh? Canton, are you familiar with the Albert brothers?
Everybody calls him Lucky. His name's Brian. He's just a good dude. I mean, he really is just a good dude. So
Albert, relating to that pizza shop, what type of interactions?
He would come in. I'd be, friendly. I'd say hello. Or there'd be deliveries to the Albert's residents, and I would, make those deliveries.
You mentioned the DPW.
So he shows. I mean, he worked for the Albert restaurant. He worked for
Albert's brother, obviously.
Yes.
So your brother and Brian Albert's brother are both town selectmen together.
Correct.
Interesting.
How did you become familiar with Kevin Albert?
Through D&E Pizza and interact.
I'm sorry, you said through D&E Pizza?
Yes. And interactions with the DPW doing details and stuff.
Okay. First, with regard to D&E Pizza, you said there were interactions with Kevin Albert relating to that pizza shop. But what type of interactions?
He would come in. I'd be, friendly. I'd say hello. Or there'd be deliveries to the Albert's residents, and I would, make those deliveries.
You mentioned the DPW. I didn't ask you what you did for work, sir. What do you do?
I work for the DPW. I work in the Highway Division.
And the DPW stands for Department of Public.
I heard that earlier and I misinterpreted it. I thought Yannetti was correcting him, but he was just basically saying, I neglected to ask what you did for work.
The DPW. I didn't ask you what you did for work, sir. What do you do?
I work for the DPW. I work in the Highway Division.
And the DPW stands for Department of Public Works?
Yes.
For which town?
Town of Canton.
He is Canton boy, friends with all of the Alberts.
And what are your duties, or strike that?
So, okay.
How often have you worked in that capacity with Kevin Albert from the Canton Police Department?
About a dozen times. We have varying jobs that require police details.
So you're doing work, and there has to be a police officer there to oversee and direct traffic and things of that nature?
Correct.
How often have you worked in that capacity with Kevin Albert from the Canton Police Department?
About a dozen times.
Okay.
And what was the nature of your relationship with Kevin Albert before January 29th of 2022?
Through D&E Pizza, I would. The Alberts usually had family functions on a weekend, and I would make deliveries.
Can these last few jurors hear the witness? I just want to make sure everybody can hear. Okay. I'm familiar with Brian Albert.
Again, through D&E Pizzas and deliveries.
Deliveries where?
To his residence.
Do you know what his residence is or what the address is?
I do.
What is it?
34 Fairview Drive.
What was your understanding of what Brian Albert did for a living?
My understanding, he was a police officer for the city of Boston.
Now, you say that you made deliveries to 34 Fairview Road. How often? And was there a particular day of the week that you delivered more than others?
It's usually once a week, and it was usually on Sundays.
So this foundation is very important to show. Not only does he know people that were at this, at this residence, he's friendly with them. He's worked for them. He's delivered pizzas for them. And so, on January 29th, he was a snowplow driver.
January.
Yeah.
But I know as long as I've been in Canton, they've lived at that residence.
All right. Now, directing your attention to January 28th and 29th of 2022, were you on duty?
As long as he's been in Canton his whole life. They've lived at that address. That was their childhood home, the Alberts.
As a snowplow driver that night and early morning?
Yes.
When did you learn that you would be on duty?
Early January 28th, we were notified that we had a 2:30 start time.
And that would be 2:30 a.m.?
A.m.
On January 29th?
Yes.
How did you learn that you would be on duty?
Our supervisors for the DPW would notify us.
Who was your supervisor?
William Welcher.
And what instructions were you given in terms of when you were to report?
We were to report at 2:30 in the morning and prepare our trucks for plowing.
What time did you actually get to the DPW that morning?
I got there about 2:15.
And when you say you got there, where did you go?
160 Bolivar Street.
And is that Bolivar?
Yes.
What is 160 Bolivar Street?
It is the DPW garage.
And when you go there, is there a requirement that you punch in?
Yes.
Did you punch in those early morning hours?
Yes.
Who was there when you got there?
Other DPW employees and William Walsh.
William Walsh being your supervisor?
Yes.
Were you assigned a specific route those early morning hours?
Yes.
What route was that?
Route 11.
What streets does Route 11 encompass?
Route 11 comes Cedar Crest from Dedham Street to the end. It encompasses everything from Kings Road to Chapman Street.
And streets in between as well?
Yes.
And what street is in between Cedar Crest and Chapman?
There would be Spring Lane and Fairview.
What truck or...
So, important foundation. I am
were you assigned in those early morning hours?
I was assigned truck 30.
And does that have a particular nickname?
Yes, it's considered a Franken truck.
Franken truck.
So Frankentruck enters the chat. All right.
Yes, like Frankenstein.
Yes.
Why was it nicknamed Frankentruck?
It was a very uncomfortable truck, and it had a lot of mismatch of parts to make it more convenient for the drivers.
Must have been a Chevy.
I'd like to show you some
uncomfortable.
photos, sir.
Oh, she getting a little Chevy joke in there. All right. Okay.
What do those photos depict?
They depict the inside of truck 30 or Franken truck.
And is there one that actually depicts the outside from the front as well?
Yes.
Do those
So we got photos. So let's get to those photos.
You'll know what
There's the outside of Frankentruck. You can see these lights that are just kicking.
Great
them.
idea.
I don't think we had this in the first trial. I don't remember it. We might have, but I don't think so.
Could you explain what 211A?
Left side of the fenders.
Okay. What about the next one, please, Mr. Will? Can you identify?
All right, so there's the inside.
This is 211B, sir.
Yes, that's the inside of the Franken truck looking out the windshield.
As if you were seated in the driver's seat?
Correct.
Next photo, please. This is 211C. What does this depict?
This is depicting on the the range that I would see seated in the front seat, looking out the windshield, and depicting how much I'll be able to see.
Okay, and this would be more toward the left side in front of you as you're seated in the driver's seat?
Correct.
All right, next photo, please.
Did he go and get these since the first
This is
trial?
211D. Could you explain this to the jury?
There is this right side.
Again, I'm sitting in the front seat of the Franken truck, and I'm taking a picture out the right side of the windshield, again, depicting on how much I can see out it.
Thank you. Okay, we can take those down and put the lights on.
And then there was, I saw something earlier. We got the microdots thing, but there was, I can find it. Something that showed what it would look like from the inside with all the lights on and everything. But of course, that's not going to come up. Cruise in real quick just to make sure. Okay, we'll go back. All right.
Okay, so you previously testified that you got to the garage about 2:15 a.m. on January 29th. Could you explain to the jury, what do you do when you get there at 2:15?
All right. So basically, he says he packs up for a long night, takes some drinks, takes some food with him, and they get on the road. All right. So
is there a pointer there, sir?
Lights are just above the grill on
211A,
Now we're
where those
light.
plow lights are.
Plow lights are just above the grill on the right side and left side.
Okay, and would it be fair to say the plow lights appear to be a clear lens and then an orange lens on either side?
Yes.
And the headlights, sir, where are those located?
They are to the right and left of the grill, and they're underneath.
Okay, and those are located just to the right of the grill in terms of as we're looking at 211A?
Yes.
Okay, we can take that down and put the lights back on. Lights, where are those?
Marking lights are on the top of my truck, along with a beacon light on top of the truck.
And what is a beacon light?
Beacon light is the light to illuminate.
And then on either side, directly out to the side, how far can you see?
About 5-6 feet.
Okay. So you see more when you're looking straight out and then diagonally out, correct?
Correct.
You can see farther?
Correct.
Now, through the windshield?
No.
Once you got into that truck in those early morning hours, how far could you see in front of your truck?
As far as my eyes would let me see.
And how far could you see diagonally?
Diagonally, probably, again, as far as my eyes would let me see.
All right. Now, you get on the road. When you...
What? What? Okay. Oh. Well, let me see your thing. Okay.
When you plow, is there a particular method that you use?
Yes.
You good? All right.
Describe that.
I start in the middle of the road and work to the right.
Technical difficulty.
Angling the plow to the right.
Are you familiar with the term ring row right?
Yes.
Could you explain that to the jury, please?
Sure. Ring row to the right is the amount of snow that's coming off the plow, creating a row. We angle everything to the right so that it does not impede on traffic on the left.
Right. So if you had gone in the other direction, you'd be putting snow right in the opposite lane of travel, right?
Correct.
So you always go to the right.
Correct.
What part of the road, once you hit the roads, do you plow first? What part of the road?
I start at the yellow line and I work to the curb line.
Why do you plow the middle of the road first?
Again, I want to ring road to the right, and I want to be able to give a bigger swath of space for first responders.
And generally, after going up a street or a road that you plow, when do you come back down the same street?
Immediately after I'm done.
Now, you mentioned Route 11, your route that night. You mentioned that it takes you to Cedar Crest.
Correct.
So we're getting to that. So let's skip ahead a little bit.
Yes.
And you see the red dot there?
Yes.
Does that red dot refresh your memory, or orient you, I should say, as to what road that red dot is on?
Yes.
And what road is that?
That would be Fairview.
All right. Now, when you hit Cedar Crest Road,
Now
are you in
we're
that area
in
of Cedar Crest,
Fairview.
or are you in a different area of Cedar Crest when you first come up on Cedar Crest Road?
When I first come on, I'm coming in at the beginning of Cedar Crest, which is at Dedham Street in Cedar Crest.
Okay. And how long a road is Cedar Crest before you get to the area of Exhibit 49?
I would say that's about a mile and a half.
And how long does it take you to plow Cedar Crest before you get to this area on January 29th of 2022?
About 10 minutes.
All right. How much of that mile and a half or so stretch of road did you plow when you first encountered it?
I plowed the entire street.
If we could zoom out, please. All right. And
all right, so we'll keep going
Back
here.
up towards Fairview.
Okay, so you're passing Fairview on your left,
Yes.
plowing further, and then turning around. When you came back to the intersection of Cedar Crest and Fairview, what did you do?
I take a right.
And how familiar were you with 34 Fairview Road on that day?
Very, very familiar.
Having delivered pizzas there for years?
And having grown up in that neighborhood.
He grew up in the neighborhood. He works for D&E Pizza. He works for the Alberts.
Friendly with the Alberts growing up?
Mostly with Chris, but I was cordial with the boys.
All right. And when you entered Fairview Road from Cedar Crest for the first time on your route, would 34 Fairview be on your right or your left?
On my right.
And can you give the jury your best estimate of when or what time was it when you first encountered 34 Fairview Road on January 29th of 2022?
About 2:40, 2:45.
That would be a.m.?
A.m.
And when you were passing 34 Fairview Road or encountering it at that point, what did you know about who lived there?
I knew the Alberts lived there, and I knew that Brian Albert was a police officer, first responders.
Now, aside from the lighting on your truck, were you aware of whether there were any streetlights in the area of 34 Fairview?
Yes.
Could you describe those?
Sure. There's one before you get to 34 Fairview driveway, and there's one after Fairview's driveway.
Do you have a memory as to whether or not those streetlights were working on January 29th of 2022?
I do not have a memory of that.
But in any case, how much of the lighting of your Franken truck was illuminated at that time?
All my lights were working.
So you're now driving up Fairview Road, and 34 Fairview's on your right. Taking into account the lighting conditions that existed, especially on your truck, how much of the front lawn of 34 Fairview could you see?
I could see all the way to the front door.
What obstructions were there at the time when you first passed the Alberts residence?
None.
Were you familiar with the area of the flagpole on the left side of the property?
Yes.
Now, when you are plowing, sir, where is your attention focused?
My attention is focused out the front window, to the right and to the left.
Why?
I am looking for pedestrians. I'm looking for residents that may be backing out, not aware that I'm there, and God forbid, animals.
That was what he said last time, too. And it's so, I mean, this is almost exactly verbatim what he said in his last testimony about the animals, because he really does not want to hit. I mean, he's like, yeah, I'm looking for pedestrians, looking for residents that are backing out, and God forbid if I hit an animal. Oh my goodness.
God forbid animals.
How much of the time that you're plowing are you scanning the road?
All the time.
Now, as you're passing 34 Fairview, could you see the area of the flagpole at 2:45 in the morning, sir?
Yes.
What was on the ground on the Alberts lawn at that point in the area of the flagpole?
Nothing.
Did you see a 6'1", 216-pound man lying on that lawn?
No.
Now, after plowing Fairview with the Alberts,
this is, I mean, if the jurors take this as it is, this is huge. This, the guy, the Officer Barrows yesterday with the tail light, Lucky with this. This is 100% reasonable doubt.
Residents to your right, what do you do?
I go to the very end, take a left on the Chapman Street, back down Chapman Street, and then take a left back onto Fairview.
And are you plowing the whole time?
Yes.
So you get to, in this diagram, Exhibit 49, we don't have to turn the lights off. I think we can see it. You're traveling in a down direction, correct?
Correct.
And you would hit Chapman Street. Is that fair to say that's at the bottom?
Correct.
You do some type of three-point turn and go back down Fairview?
Yes.
How long does it take you to get from 34 Fairview the first time to get to Chapman Street?
Maybe 5-10 minutes.
And then how long does it take you to get from Chapman Street back down so that you're now passing 34 Fairview again?
Again, about 5-10 minutes.
And when you're coming back down, what side of the road is 34 Fairview?
On my left.
When you pass 34 Fairview at that time, are there any obstructions preventing you from seeing the front lawn?
None.
Was there any difference in the lighting on your truck when you were coming back down?
No.
Where was your attention focused when you're passing 34 Fairview on your left?
Again, out the front, right and left.
And how much of that front lawn are you able to see on 34 Fairview when you're coming back down from Chapman?
I can see everything. I can see right up to the front door.
What did you see on the front lawn of 34 Fairview on January 29th of 2022 when you're making the second pass by 34 Fairview in the area of the flagpole?
I saw nothing.
All right, now, you've made an up and down pass, sir, correct?
Yes.
Once you pass 34 Fairview, for that first up and down pass, where do you go?
I then go do Spring Lane, and I do that top and bottom.
And is there a point in time when you come back to the area of Fairview Road?
Yes.
We're just going to let this go because this is all just important.
That's second time now that you're coming back. I'm counting the up and down pass as the first time. Okay. You with me?
Yep.
That's
And then we'll get to the new Brennan.
second time now that you're coming back. About how long is it after the first time?
About 45 minutes.
So now it's about what time that you're coming for the second time to this area?
3:30.
And when you come back to the area of Fairview Road the second time, are you on the Cedar Crest side, which is on the top of Exhibit 49, or the Chapman side, which is on the bottom?
Come on, stream.
Come on.
Come back to the area of Fairview Road the second.
All right, guys.
Which is on the bottom. What was the weather at 3:30 in the morning when you're now in that area of Fairview and Cedar Crest?
It's snowing fairly hard now.
Do you recall how much snow? Was on the ground at that point?
Maybe 2-3 inches.
And at about 3:30 in the morning, how far could you see in front of you? Again, straight and diagonally in front of you.
As far as my eyes would.
I know, right?
As a result of the lighting on your truck.
Correct.
Now, you take the right onto Fairview. Describe to the jury what you see in the road at that point.
As I make my right onto Fairview, I notice that there's a vehicle on the right-hand side, roughly in the area of the flagpole in front of 34.
This is huge.
Fairview. Okay.
Hank Brennan, like we talked about yesterday, his whole attitude is that it is preposterous that there is any other explanation for this except that John O'Keefe was hit by a car and left there all night long. He makes it sound preposterous that there is any other explanation for this. This makes it completely not preposterous.
As I make my right onto Fairview, I notice that there's a vehicle on the right-hand side, roughly in the area of the flagpole in front of 34 Fairview.
Okay. And did you make note of what type of vehicle that was?
Yes.
What type of vehicle was that?
A Ford Edge.
What direction was that vehicle parked when you saw it?
It was parked nose going up Fairview.
Toward Chapman?
Yes.
So you're coming up from behind it?
Correct.
You see the rear of that vehicle?
Yes.
And was it parked adjacent to the Albert property, or was it across the street from the Albert property?
Adjacent to the Albert family.
And how close to the area of the flagpole was that Ford Edge parked at 3:30 in the morning?
I can't give you an exact measurement, but looking at the front door, it was about 3 feet to the left of the front door in the area of the flagpole, so in between the front door and the flagpole.
Which is right where he was found the next morning.
Now, what caused you to remember that there was a Ford Edge parked at 3:30 outside the Albert's residence that night?
For as long as I can remember, they have never parked a vehicle in front of their house. They've always had enough ample parking in the driveway.
What policies or protocols of the DPW are enforced when vehicles are parked on the street or the road during a snow emergency?
There is no parking allowed. We are supposed to notify our supervisor when there's a vehicle in the way. At that point, the supervisor will make attempt to call the resident or have the police show up at the resident. And then if they can't get the car removed, the car gets towed.
Sir, did you follow protocol that night?
I did not.
Why not?
Knowing the Albert family, knowing that there was a first responder, I gave him respect and opted not to follow procedures.
I mean, the first time you try and cut somebody a break, can you imagine just imagine for a moment if he had followed procedure and they try to get a hold of the residents, and then you have more than just Lucky that now sees and documents a vehicle there in the morning. Imagine if he had followed the protocol.
How did the presence of that...
They're counting on people. They're counting on people to not follow protocol. That's what this entire thing has been, is people not following protocol. People not following protocol with the investigation. People not following protocol, here in this situation, you're just cutting somebody that you've known all your life a break, right? You're cutting them a break. It's one of their vehicles. You think it's one of their vehicles. And then You go on.
That Ford Edge parked on the side of the road affect your direction of travel?
I had to go around the vehicle.
How did you maneuver around it?
I had to maneuver to the left, go up, and then maneuver back right into my lane, and then continue up Fairview.
And at any point when you were maneuvering to the left and then angling back to the right, could you see part of the front lawn of the Alberts?
Yes.
Were you able to see any part of the area around the flagpole?
Yes.
It's absolutely the entire case that doesn't follow protocol. Nobody has followed protocol.
Yes, I maneuvered back right.
And when you maneuvered back right and saw that area, what, if anything, did you see on the ground in the area of?
Ooh, we got a what if anything in there.
The flagpole.
I
missed the what if anythings, believe it or not, because occasionally occasionally you got to do it. But I mean, now if there were again, 6,000 what if anythings, what if any's, I probably would be, going crazy. But a what if anything in the wild occasionally is kind of a nice little reminder, isn't it?
And saw that area, what, if anything, did you see on the ground in the area of the flagpole?
I saw nothing.
All right, so now you've passed 34 Fairview again. Where do you go?
I go back to the top of Chapman, and again, I do a left and a right and head back down Fairview.
Another 3-point turn.
Correct.
So now you're doing your second up and down, correct? All right, so now you've done your second.
So now we get, we're almost done here.
No.
Do you know who Michael Proctor is that approached you at that time?
His first name is Paul, and he described himself as a private investigator.
When was the first time you were approached by anybody connected within this investigation on either side, if you recall?
About 2 weeks.
Who was it that approached you at that time?
His first name is Paul, and he described himself as a private investigator for the defense team.
Prior to hearing from the defense private investigator, had you ever heard from anybody from any police department whatsoever?
No.
Do you know who Michael Proctor is?
I do.
Follow that.
And did Michael Proctor ever call you or contact you at all in those 2 weeks?
No.
Where did the defense investigator approach you, if you recall?
He approached me at my place of work, which was at the Canton Ice Rink, Metropolis Ice Rink.
And what were you doing at the ice rink?
I was operating the Zamboni.
Now, without telling us what you told him, did you speak to the defense investigator?
This guy he's a plow driver. He drives the Zamboni. I mean, he's just a dude. Lucky is just a dude.
Yes, I did.
And at some point, did you do something with the defense investigator?
Yes, I met him for a second time at the Kennedy School, and then we both drove my route.
Skipping ahead to the next year, sir, 2023, were you approached by law enforcement officers who were not Canton Police or Massachusetts State Police?
Yes.
Without telling us what you told them, did you speak to them?
Yes.
Again, the entire case. The entire case is them deciding not to follow up with anything. The prosecution, the state police, nobody interviewed Lucky except for the defense. It's just unimaginable.
Before speaking to them in 2023, had you ever heard from former Trooper Michael Proctor or anybody from this investigation from the state police or Canton Police?
No.
At some point, did you hear from the state police?
Yes.
That was after you'd already talked to the defense and to these other law enforcement officers who were not state police or Canton Police?
Yes.
And sir, how clear is your memory about what you saw or didn't see in the early morning hours of January 29th of 2022 in the area of 34 Fairview? The first up and down pass, the second up and down pass, and then the third time you came.
Very strong.
I have no further questions. Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you very much.
All right. Now we have the somebody, they must have had a meeting yesterday after Dr. Russell's testimony. And then after Barros's testimony, where and I'm sure that they have watched X as well. I'm pretty sure of it, because let me see if I thought I had saved this. Yep. So This was yesterday during Barrows's testimony. And I want you to, so he's away from the mic, but listen here.
When you met with the attorneys in Boston, what'd you talk about?
It was just a way for them to meet with me and see me face to face, and then ask me how I would be subpoenaed, who would they need to send a court summons to, what my schedule was like coming up in the next month, months.
Those things all could have been accomplished by phone, correct?
Could have.
So the face-to-face meeting, what did you talk about?
I'm going to allow it.
Over here.
Right there. You hear that? Over here. He looks over. So Jackson objects. He looks over at Jackson because that's who has now spoken. And Hank says, over here. Barks at him like a dog.
I'm going to allow it.
Over here. What did you talk about? Excuse me.
Over here. And Jackson immediately goes, no.
So that, okay?
Over here.
Over here. So now let's look. This is where Jess Mikado says that walking by, he smirked at this woman who is John O'Keefe's ex from 20 years ago, we talked about yesterday, the one that carries, that is shown forlorn with the picture, and she wears the thing, and she hasn't gone out with John O'Keefe for 20 years. They were high school or some shit. He smirks at her and she laughs. Like, see this laugh that she's doing with her water bottle? The internet is going to see this stuff. The internet is going to see it, and they're going to call you out on it, Hank. And they did. You got called out on it. And everybody put it together. Jess Mikado put it together from being in the courtroom. Then we've got the over here thing.
Next months.
Those things all could have been accomplished by phone, correct?
Could have.
So the face-to-face meeting, what did you talk about?
I'm going to allow it.
Over here. What did you talk about? Excuse me.
So that, okay?
Over here.
I think that's Jackson saying over here. I think he's going to approach on that.
So that, okay?
Over here.
Yeah, that's Jackson saying over here. Like, you're going to question that? You're going to say that to a witness? What are you doing? Right? And he gets called out on it. So they had they had a meeting yesterday, and they said, look, if you treat Lucky like you treated Dr. Russell, and you treated police officer Barrows, you're going to lose this jury. The jury is going to turn like, they probably already think he's a dick. You can't watch this guy and not think he is a complete freaking jerk. You just can't. Right? His voice is grating, and his attitude, he yells at people. He's yelling and cross. And yeah, right. No, exactly. They're standing, they stand up to object because you stand up in court when you're going to address the court. And so, yeah, and that over here thing, and then the smirk and the other person, doing their little he. He must have talked about it yesterday because this is a different dude today. He tries. Now, and I think let's just do Emily for the freaking cross, because we'll just skip some along. Okay, so let's get to the cross here. Exactly. Let's speed this up. All right, so he's going to, so he jumps into this immediately. Immediately he jumps into, you were intimidated, you were threatened if you didn't testify a certain way. So I think I got up, but by the time I got up this morning, because like I said, stuff comes on early. By the time I got it up, they were already in the cross-examination. So I did not catch this. I wasn't able to go back and watch it. He jumps into the online blogger Turtle Boy immediately. Well, let's just listen to this for a minute. I'm going to grab a water. I'll be right back. Oh, damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it. I'm sorry. I did it. Shit. Okay, let's go back. Oh, I should have known. I should have known. Okay. At least it wasn't too long. Okay.
It's fair to say there are many times we testified in court under oath.
Correct.
Statements to at least 4 different people. Correct?
Correct.
And you testified in court under oath.
Correct.
During the pendency from that night until today, it's fair to say there are many times where you have been intimidated, isn't it?
No.
You've been threatened?
What?
Nope.
What? You were aware, sir, that you were being threatened by an online blogger?
What?
I was not.
What?
Can you imagine if the defense tried to do this? They tried to say, I mean, because we've seen this already, where they say no, and then he keeps going after it, and they're saying, no, that didn't happen. And Bev does nothing. That's the thing. Again, Jessica Mikado tonight, and I wanted to, I just remembered this. She was on LTL Media, which is somebody that's back there near Boston. Let's Talk Live, I think is what LTL stands for. So I was listening to that on the way home because I try and get as much in as I can and soak in as many points of view as I can about this during the day while I'm working too. But I was listening to her and she was talking about Bev and how she's an independent journalist. We've talked about her. She was in court today. She's been in court a couple of weeks. She was in court this week. And she's been in other courts before. She's an observer. She's not an attorney. She's a reporter. And she's been in other courts before. And she's watched trials and she's watched judges. And what she has said is she has never seen a judge that treats the defense like Bev does, that treats a side like she does. The one that makes the gestations and the gestures and the sighs and the whole thing. She's never seen a judge act like that. You know how the judge is going to respond to any emotions. You know that most of the time the defense is going to object and it's going to be allowed. Prosecution's going to object. It's going to be sustained. She was saying she has never seen a judge act like she does. This is a prime example of him going on the same thing he did yesterday. Now, and I picked it up yesterday where he basically put words in Barros's mouth, like tricked him into saying, well, we showed you that picture at trial, or, you were shown that picture at trial last year. And, you said blah, blah, blah. And then he come back. It was like, well, you didn't really do that. That was I realize cops can lie to you. If you ever get interrogated by the cops, they are not your friends. In fact, I think it's a good reminder time right now. This is one of my favorite videos right here. It is a minute long, and I'm going to share this with you right now.
Mark and Craig. Mark and Craig, Pop Brothers at Law. We've been warning people, if you are working for an unlicensed dispensary, an illegal dispensary, and it gets raided, you need to shut the fuck up. If you shut the fuck up, you have a good chance that we can make the case go away. Case in point, 3 employees of an illegal shop were busted during a raid. 2 of them said, oh, I'm just volunteering here. The third guy shut the fuck up. And the DA did not prosecute the guy who shut the fuck up. They can't prove what you were doing there. If you're a customer, patient, walked in to go to the bathroom, they don't know. You got to shut the fuck up, and it's Shut the Fuck Up Friday. So review the script. What do you say when the cop first pulls you over?
Why'd you pull me over?
And when he keeps asking questions?
Not discussing my day.
And they ask more questions?
Am I being detained or am I free to go?
And if detained, what do you say?
I invoke the 5th.
And then what do? You
shut the fuck up.
Shut the fuck up Friday. Never answer questions when the cops ask.
Have safe holidays.
Tip of the day.
Sorry, I just had to throw that in there because, cops are not your friend. They will not. They will try and do everything that they can to trick you, and they are allowed to. The Supreme Court of the United States has said that police officers are allowed to lie to you during interrogations.
You've been intimidated? No. You've been threatened? No. You've been intimidated? No. But are we seeing a pattern of cross-examination? Memory?
Yes.
Did the defense talk to you too much or make you testify about this, what have you? There is multiple cross-examinations now where this is the pattern. Okay. Let's hear what he has to say. Look, I don't know what happens on the interwebs about this case. I stick to what happens in court because oftentimes I don't want to know. I want to see what comes out in court unfold as the jury was watching in this case. So I don't know. So thank you, chat, for talking about being harassed. I've tried to
Aware, sir, that you were being threatened by an online blogger to expose you?
I was not.
You're saying as you sit here today, you have no awareness in the history of this case that you were being threatened by an online blogger?
I was not threatened by an online blogger.
Was the online blogger threatening or saying that he would expose you and tell personal things about you if you weren't helpful?
What?
He was not threatening.
Let's remove the word threatening. Was the person communicating and making clear to you that if you didn't testify in a certain way, there would be some consequence to you? Anytime from when you
The objection was vague.
Spoke to the private investigator until today, were there communications made to you by an online blogger that there would be consequence to you if you didn't testify in a way that was acceptable to them?
No.
You listened, of course, didn't you, to podcasts that were about you?
I did not.
People told you about them.
Yes, I did.
When friends told you about them, you knew who that person was that was making those claims, correct?
Correct.
You were well aware the person had a very strong and large social media presence.
I didn't know how large or what his presence were, but yes, I knew he had a blog.
Well, you know now because you follow that blogger now, don't you?
I do follow him, yes.
You pay for a subscription?
I do not.
Did you get one for free?
I did not.
And following that blog.
What is this? I mean, oh my God. This is what you're going to make your cross-examination on is Turtle Boy? That's your big cross-examination? There are people who came to this case from Aiden Kearney, Turtle Boy. There are people that made it to this case from him. Me being one of them. I saw, I know. Even when he's trying to be not a jerk, he sounds like a jerk. I mean, he's trying really hard to not be a jerk, but then you can tell
But yes, I knew he had a blog.
Well, you know now because you follow that blogger now, don't you?
I do follow him, yes.
You pay for a subscription?
I do not.
Did you get one for free?
I did not.
And in following that blogger, you know full well the power that person has to get attention from the community to harass, correct?
Yes.
And so during the pendency of this case, not only were you aware
Oh, it's relevant.
that you were
It's absolutely to see where this is going, but that you would creep on them on a sock that Brennan knows all. No. Interested in the timeline.
has to get attention from the community to
That's not what he
testify
said.
a certain way. You all
Haven't really heard the Commonwealth do it, but Brennan is so close to the bench, and it's on evidence is different. But the premise not being accurate. This I don't give a fuck what was going on online.
Life.
Oh, sorry.
To testify.
So yeah, so let's get to here. So even when he's trying to be not a jerk, he sounds like a jerk. He really does.
I know that's absolutely not true.
to testify a certain way. You also need to be consequences if you didn't. Isn't that true? Yes.
I'm going to allow that.
The premise of that question is not accurate.
So he can answer it.
You knew there was pressure for you to testify a certain way in this case, didn't you?
I did not know I was being required to testify a certain way. I was also at the time dealing with the loss of my wife.
Oh, sorry.
I was not paying any attention to any social media.
It's like I didn't give a fuck what was going on
Sorry for
online.
your loss, but you are aware during.
Brennan, sorry for your loss, but you were aware.
Listen to that. I mean, if I'm a juror on this case, and that's what he says to
Time
me.
dealing with the loss of my wife.
Oh, sorry.
I was not paying any attention to any social media.
It's like I didn't give a fuck what was going on
Sorry for your
online.
loss, but you are aware during.
Brennan, sorry for your loss, but you were aware. Everything Brennan asked from here is just kind of done. I don't give a fuck what was going on line. I was dealing with the loss of my wife. You know what Brennan's not asking him, noticeably? About his past testimony. You said this, 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 you said this. He's not asking him any of that. He said no.
I mean, I want to. Hopefully, she goes back because
Your conversations were spread. The other person was recorded. Isn't that fair to say?
Two-line questioning after that.
And it's his case that there has been pressure on you to testify in a certain way. Isn't that fair to say?
No,
Sir, you received a call from that blogger, didn't you?
I did.
And during that call, did you know the person was recording you?
I did not.
You later
I
learned
don't like
that the
that.
person recorded you. For personal matters, if you didn't testify a certain way, weren't they?
I mean, let me go over here to. I did not mean to do that. Hang on. I want you guys to hear that specifically how he said that. Because if I'm a juror on this case and I hear the prosecutor say, sorry for your loss, but you're aware, like Brennan didn't even break a didn't even like break stride in his questioning. He did the way he said sorry for your loss was meant that he wasn't sorry. Listen to this. And Lucky sticks with it. He sticks to his guns here the whole time.
Inevitably, you've met this person, haven't you?
I've seen him. I haven't met him.
Have you ever spent time with him?
No, I have not.
You're still a follower of that blog.
I am.
When you
How
go
does
on
he
the blog, do you
just,
read
like, why does he just get to make this stuff up?
anything or do you watch it?
Ask him
That's
why.
what
Ask him why.
drives me
Why do you follow it?
crazy.
Why do you follow it?
Oh, I know. It does. It absolutely does. And he deserves every
Ben.
bit of that.
No, I don't do
Serves
much
all of it.
anything towards the blogger.
As you follow it, you can see there are oftentimes articles about you.
No,
Haven't you ever been encouraged to do the right thing?
no.
Haven't you ever been celebrated?
Right
Clear my
there.
record scratch.
No.
Haven't you ever been encouraged?
So the Boston commissioner of police can tell Miss Dever to do the right thing, and that is okay. but somebody telling him to do the right thing, that's different. That's bad.
Blogger.
As you follow it, you can see there are oftentimes articles about you.
No.
Haven't you ever been encouraged to do the right thing?
No.
Haven't you ever been celebrated?
Yeah.
Where is my record scratch? Brennan, sir, are you insinuating that the words "do the right thing" are a veiled threat?
It just doesn't even make sense.
Because I feel like you're insinuating that the words "do the right thing" are a wink and a threat.
Right.
If I am misremembering, please let me know, but I think I have this correct, and I might have created a false memory here because I still don't know if it was weirdly or wildly long period of time that anyone may or may not have been in the Sallyport, but would an online blogger or the commissioner of Boston PD, who is your boss, be more persuasive in the equation of do the right thing? Because a couple days ago, I think we learned that do the right thing meant just tell the truth. I thought that's where we were at with just do the right thing. I thought it just meant get up there and tell the
Now
truth.
it's
Are you
a veil.
insinuating
Yeah, now it's
something
now it's a
nefarious
threat.
with do the right thing? How the fuck are you arguing out of both sides of your mouth in like a 2-day proximity? Is like the jury sitting there going, do the right thing? Oh, where?
You know they said, you know the jury heard that. You know the jury said, what?
Oh, where have we heard that before? On Monday, during the wildest testimony to maybe ever grace a courtroom. Or weirdest. Pick your parlance. I can't believe that this is the question he is asking in court with like dead ass seriousness. I mean, have some fucking consistency. How do you have any credibility when you go to argue when one thing means one thing in one context and one thing means one thing in a different context? How do you argue when things mean same thing means different things depending on which witness it is? How do you argue that? Just all of the side eye.
Exactly.
All of the side eye. And if you
Yeah.
Testified in a way favorable for one
Yes.
than the other?
Yes.
And so when you were being celebrated, that certainly took off any pressure that would be consequence, didn't it?
Ask it differently.
When you were celebrated for
Now they're
testifying a
gonna
certain
bring it-
way, did you find that to be encouraging?
I'm going to allow it.
I did find it to be encouraging, but I did not want it. I don't think I deserved it. All I was doing was my job.
Yeah, this is it is. It is. It's totally it's ridiculous. It's beyond ridiculous. It's just
And telling the truth.
Who believes him?
and but I mean, this guy stays with it the entire time. He even says, "I
One in
don't
the chat.
want the attention."
These answers, which we have seen from so many witnesses, they would have answered the insinuation. He didn't answer. Brennan asked for it. I didn't want it. I don't think I deserve it. I don't want to be celebrated.
Back to
Were you
here.
celebrated? He's like,
Something.
Enjoy the
100 right.
I did not.
Did you pose in photographs with people who support one side or the other?
I did.
And when you were in those photographs, are you saying that you didn't enjoy the attention that you were receiving?
I did not. Again, I was trying to be polite and trying to avoid any confrontation that may come from something if I said no.
Well, did anybody from the district attorney's office ever suggest they would confront you or punish you if you didn't testify a certain way?
No.
How many friends contacted you about what was being said before you testified, the pressure? How many people told you about that?
I couldn't tell you. All my friends were telling me.
So you were hearing a lot of noise or information from your friend group and community about what was being said about you?
Yes.
Good friends. Those are good friends. I'm not being sarcastic. Those are good friends.
Was before you testified at the first trial, sir?
This was before.
So you think the jury knows there was a first trial now? Because Brennan has said it, everybody else has said it, everyone else has said it. His friends were telling him what was being said about him online.
Yeah, they weren't supposed to say first trial, but everybody's been saying first
You work hard,
trial.
don't you?
I do.
You work many different jobs.
I do.
You try to be a good citizen.
I do.
You are not looking for attention.
I am not.
It was brought to you.
It was brought to me.
You wish you never had that attention, don't you? Would it be fair to say that you simply want to live your life the way you've been living it without outside people attacking
So this is
or pressuring or threatening you?
so this is Brennan that is trying to just going through this in my brain with this site, with this kind of what he's trying to elicit here. And he's crossed the line so many times. I think he's trying to elicit sympathy for Lucky, that he was, that's when he's bringing up he was, intimidated. He was pressured to testify a certain way. He wants the jury to think, okay, this guy was threatened. And so Brennan is trying to be the good guy right now, but he doesn't know how to do that. He doesn't know how to be the good guy. And so now he's accusing, instead of trying to raise sympathy for Lucky. On one hand, he's accusing him of testifying, testifying for the defense, testifying, something that I think he's been consistent though with what he said the entire time. That's the crazy thing. So
you were contacted by the defense private investigator, weren't you? And you may not know the date. Were you contacted twice by the private investigator?
Did that line of questioning change anything for you, except making you like this witness more? Did that entire line of questioning do anything but make this witness more sympathetic? It just doubled down on, I'm just doing my job. Right.
Investigator?
I would need to know what time frame we're looking at.
Fair enough. By the way, the blogger that I speak of,
was he in
do
court?
you know if he is friendly or supports one side over the other?
I know he is friendly towards one side, yes.
Of course he is.
The side sitting in the back of the room?
What? Why can't you say the defense? That's what I think. Yeah, it's like, why can't you
Interacted
say
with
the
the private
defense?
investigator hired by the defense?
Yes.
Have you also interacted with any of the attorneys?
Yes.
Which attorneys have you interacted with?
Mr. Yannetti.
Have you contacted or have you spoken to any other attorneys other than Mr. Yannetti?
Just not by Mr. Yannetti's first trial.
When you were discussing your testimony,
shit's just all the way.
He just said first trial there.
State police in my candidate.
Not by Mr. Yannetti. I saw that first document for the first time during the first trial.
When you were discussing your testimony,
Shit's just all the way on the horse on that at this
was
point.
there a discussion about the fact that
Day 27, no one's.
Okay, so yes, they're talking about the FBI
remember
interviews.
how many times that you
About
spoken?
5 times.
How many
You can't
times have you
remember.
gone in to be interviewed by him?
4 times?
During those interviews, were they spaced out over the course of this case?
I love how, Brennan's going to insinuate that you can't be prepped as a witness, but that's what you do. You prep witnesses.
Yes.
I mean,
What was the purpose of those interviews?
To go over my testimony.
When you went over testimony, were you ever shown prior testimony?
Yes.
Were you shown prior reports?
No.
Were you shown a prior investigator's report?
Yes.
Were you shown a prior report by a law enforcement agency that is not the state police and not Canada?
Not by Mr. Yannetti. I saw that first document for the first time during the first trial.
When you were discussing your testimony,
Shit's just all the way on the horse on that at this point.
was there a discussion about the fact that the
Day
times
27, no one's trying to pretend anymore.
that you gave the private investigator were different than the report from that law enforcement agency?
Could you repeat that question, please?
When you were preparing the trial in those meetings, was it brought up, did you discuss that there was a difference in your memory, or at least in the reports, between what you told the defense private investigator and what you told that other law enforcement agency?
No.
Were you aware that there was a difference between the different statements attributing your memory at the time?
The first trial, yes.
Differences, he said, as to time.
With the defense preparing.
Chad, every time anyone says other agency, Hank has been screaming, especially when the fans are on, to the point where I feel like I'm in trouble for commenting on the case. And today, all of a sudden, Hank is just like making the witness work to hear him.
no, it's noticeable. It's noticeable that he was trying to bring his voice down. Like I said, they talked about it yesterday. He was told, if you treat Lucky like you've treated these other witnesses, that jury is going to hate you. The jury is going to, and they're going to tune out. And what, he's just trying to be softer Brennan, and it just doesn't work. So he basically says that I want to get to something here. So
When you came into court last year, it's fair to say this is after you became aware of essentially being targeted, correct?
It's not what he said. That misstates
Can you
testimony.
answer that? Can you answer that, Mr. Walker?
I can. I don't ever felt like I was being targeted.
Right.
This was after you received all the information from your friends and people in the community that you were being.
Ask what his friend said then.
oh my God, that's just Brennan. Just he completely stated that was not like he completely stated that something that wasn't in testimony at all.
Can you answer that, Mr. Walker?
I can.
When you came into court last year, it's fair to say this is after you became aware of essentially being targeted, correct?
It's not what he said. That misstates.
Like every time Brennan has an idea, he's going to keep that idea, and you're not allowed to make any other. That's reality. Brennan has a way that says this is reality. This is everybody's reality, and it is preposterous if there is any other reality that's brought out in this. It's the same thing when he's talking about Welcher and the report and the dog bites and any other possibility is not only not credible, it's preposterous. And that's the way he comes off. And that's, it's a strategy. It's a trial. You're trying to win a trial. You're trying to get justice. You're trying to get the truth. But Brennan doesn't care about any of that. Brennan is, I'm going to win at all costs. And anything else besides my theory that this was a traffic hit, this was a side swipe or a clapping, anything else is preposterous and could not possibly have happened. Yes, he pushes what he wants the jury to believe. He's trying to undermine every witness's credibility, however he can, whether it's so basically everybody likes Lucky. So now we're going to make the blogger Turtle Boy. We're going to make him the bad guy. So he doesn't have to go directly after Lucky. He can go after Turtle Boy and make him the bad guy. So now he has somebody to you're right, undermine. Now he can undermine Turtle Boy, and that's what undermined this.
Targeted.
Right. This was after you received all the information from your friends and people in the community that you were being.
Ask what his friend said then. Ask what his friend said then.
Attacked.
He was scratching his eye. Art's so happy. He was scratching his eye.
I told him I went up at 2:30 at 2. Told him at 3:30 I went up 2. Went up and down. And I told him about.
You weren't sure how many times you went up and down Fairview that night? You
Does he
said
have a
2 or
clotter
3.
ring on?
Did you go anywhere with him that day?
No, I did not.
You had a conversation with him and you spoke about what you had remembered from that
Right,
investigator. The first time you met him, do you remember that meeting?
Yes.
Do you remember where you met him?
I met him at my place of employment.
Did you go anywhere with him that day?
No, I did not.
You had a conversation.
Yeah, and the jury's got to see. The jury's got to. I mean, if you're a human being, and 90% of people that you see in the chat rooms of all of the different places, even court TV or law and crime or any one of them, 90, 85, 90% of the people are like, do not like this guy at all. So if you're on that jury, you have human reactions, you have human emotions. You have to know, man, this guy is unlikable.
Conversation with him and you spoke about what you had remembered from that night?
Yes.
Do you remember when you spoke to that private investigator? You weren't sure how many times you went up and down Fairview that night? You
Does he
said
have a
2 or
clotter
3.
ring on? Sir, you just made my heart so happy. I think he was scratching his eye.
I told him I went up at 2:30 at 2. Told him at 3:30 I went up 2. Went up and down. And I told him about 3 hours later I went up and down. Excuse me, I went down and wasn't able to go around the police cruisers and had to turn around at Carriage Lane.
You mentioned that you believe you told the private investigator that you went up and down at 2:30. Do you remember when you spoke to the private investigator, you actually said 3 o'clock?
Yeah.
I don't remember 3 o'clock.
Do any of you care? And I'm not judging if you do. I genuinely am asking. It just doesn't matter for this witness. 3 a.m., 3:30 a.m.? Okay. It was dark, you were plowing, you went by 34 Fairview and you saw a car? and you didn't see John O'Keefe. The first time there was no car, then there was a car. So the first time
So, and then
they didn't follow procedure. I think it's a trap. It's like I assumed it was one of their cars. Plot around it, it'll be fine. Oh, no, it's just a variance.
I told him I went up Fairview between about 2:40 to 2:45, and I said about 45 minutes later, I went for the second time.
Okay. Now you said 2:30, and you just now said 2:40 to 2:45, and then you said 45 minutes later.
Well, Brennan, you said, didn't you say 3? And then you said, oh, didn't you say 3:15? So, okay. Okay, Brennan.
No, and she makes a good point there. That's what he does too. Brennan just tries to confuse everybody. He throws these numbers out. He throws these times out. He throws all this stuff out. And I'm trying to get to, I want to skip to where we're talking about, to Trooper Proctor. Okay, so yeah, law enforcement. Because I've got something I saw on X today. And have a nice day. Thank you. X for some reason does not work on my thing here. So I cannot see you. This is what I see. And I've got a question into them as to why I can't see chats, but I can't see X chats for some reason. But I really appreciate the talk. I've tried to go on X and see the chats too, and I can never see it. So let me try right now. Yeah. So I would totally respond to you if I could see it. All right. So law enforcement. Oh, wrong one. Somebody posted something today from
10-year penalty.
Yes.
When you
things where Jem McCabe reached out affirmatively too.
Yes.
And this was shortly before, well, actually, this was May 24th, 2023, correct?
Correct.
When you met, there was more than one person there from this agency?
I believe so.
Was there potentially midnight?
So
I never
asked you about when you began working that.
All right. So right here. This is when the state police finally talked to him in May of 2023. This happened February or January of 2022. Over a year later, the state police finally decided, let's go talk to this guy. He's causing us a bunch of trouble. We're not going to get our plea bargain. So let's go talk to him.
And this was shortly before, well, actually, this was May 24th, 2023, correct?
Correct.
When you met, there was more than one person there from this agency?
I believe so.
Was there potentially 2?
There was 2.
And when you met with them, they asked you about when you began working that night?
Yes.
You told them 11:30 to midnight.
I never told them that.
And so as you sit here today, your memory is you did not tell those law enforcement agents that you began work at 11:30 to 12?
We had a 2:30 start time.
I understand, but I'm asking you.
I never told them.
He never told them that.
It was always 2:30 start time.
When you spoke to them, do you remember telling them the first time you were out near the...
Show them the report then.
Yes.
Show them the report then. The jury knows how this game works. The jury knows how this works. You didn't tell them this, and then you show them the report. Brennan often doesn't. And he's been caught a couple times where it's like, oh, that's not in the report, it's this. Show them the report then.
The area was midnight?
Nope. No.
When you spoke to those law enforcement
Nope is
personnel, were they
acceptable
taking notes?
in our parlance.
I believe so.
Have you ever
If I can
seen
find my
their
sound right.
report?
The first trial I did, yes.
Who showed you that report?
It was shown.
That report? Now, that you believe that there were emergency vehicles and
the jury's like, oh, so
Fairview. Saying
Where's
that
the
you did not...
report? Okay. This was from Turtle Boy today, 13 hours ago. Spanky's struggling here. He just got lucky. Say Proctor misquoted him about what time he got to work. Which occurred 18 months. And then, so this person, it looks like this is actually from the report. Okay, why don't we start with the night of the 29th and whatever you can recall, the best recollection. Were you working? We were called out at 2:30 in the morning. I believe it was roughly 2:30 in the morning. I arrived at the barn at 2:15. I was in my truck. I went down, proceeded to do cedar. He just made that up. He just made that up. How I mean, and Bev just sits there. And like Jessica said earlier, Bev just sits there and she drinks out of her little tumbler and she does, you know. Oh yeah. You know, he just he's been right about a lot of the stuff in this case. He has got a completely different way. I mean, just in this day and age, to make a name, I mean, I don't agree with it, but you just have to stand out from the crowd. And he definitely stands out from the crowd. And some people are going to like that and some people are not. But talking about it earlier, it was an interview and I got sidetracked. It was an interview with Nick Rekieta that got me into this case. And it was an interview with Turtle Boy on Nick Rekieta's show. And he talked about this case. And then I went to his website, and his website is horrible, right? The pop-up, I can't go to the Turtle Boy website. I can't read stuff on it. I can't deal with that, with all the pop-up ads and everything. I just can't do it. So, you know, and he's brash. He's got his, you know, he's got his own way of dealing something. But yeah, no, you can totally show that. But, you know, they've got to tread lightly as well, because they know that there is a Bev that's going to smack them down every chance she gets. Every chance she gets, she's going to beat them down.
It was dark out that night, wasn't it?
Correct.
There are no street lights down near that flagpole area of 34 Fairview, is there?
Yes, there is.
Okay.
On the other side of the street. I think this is why they brought in the photos this time of the lights on the truck. They did not have photos of the Franken truck last trial. I think it's the defense anticipated this line of questioning. There's no street light there. No plow.
Oh yeah.
With like 3 different types of lights.
Yeah, I know. I could get an ad.
Was it on that
blocker.
night?
It would go away.
I can't tell you honestly if it was.
You testified
lights are
at
too
trial?
bright.
I'm sorry, at a proceeding last year?
You got me there. Yes.
I
ad blocker
testified
words.
that there were. It was asked to me that there were not any streetlights, and I answered it in the affirmative way. And living in that neighborhood, I saw that there were actual streetlights.
You testified at a proceeding last year, didn't you?
Yes.
When you testified at the proceeding, did you meet anybody from the defense close in time to that proceeding?
I don't know.
All right. So here's like, I think we're getting pretty close to the end of. Oh, maybe not. Jesus, he just keeps going and going and going. So okay, so they get to this
hours going down Cedar Crest and was not able to go to the end of Fairview due to the first responders.
At trial last year, do you remember saying it was 5:30?
I did.
And today you had said about 6:15.
Yes.
What I recall from that testimony, and I don't know if they'll show him the transcript, but what I recall from that testimony is it was a start time and then like 10 minutes or 15 minutes after this, 30 minutes after that, 3 hours after that, it was like this. It was hard for me to follow the timing because it was like, well, I can't math in my head, but it was like 30 minutes after this and then 45 minutes after this. And so when they got to, so what time was your final pass? I was so confused because they didn't pin it to time. It was just all counting up from the start time. And again, the thing that's more important to me is you didn't finish your final pass because there were first responders on the street. Okay, that narrows the window of time.
Yeah, if it's 5:30 or it's 6 o'clock, I mean, come on, dude. And he gets to explain it here in redirect, but
does it matter?
You talked about your view from the tow truck and that you have a bunch of lights on it. On the tow truck, you had mentioned that your vision to the side was 5 to 6 feet.
All of you were like, no, it doesn't matter at all.
Can you rephrase that, please?
Yes, of course. You said when you were driving your tow truck, you could see forward and sideways.
Okay. I don't want to be. I don't drive a tow truck.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Brennan, I did it too. I did it the other day.
Oh, that's right. That was.
Brennan doesn't have chat.
I love this, the tow truck. And I've talked about this and I've said tow truck and two instead of.
Does it matter?
Talk about your view from the tow truck and that you have a bunch of lights on it. On
That's
the
my
tow
question.
truck.
I love how he
the
handles
vision to the
this.
side was 5 to 6 feet.
All of you are like, no, it doesn't matter at all.
Can you rephrase that, please?
Yes, of course.
So he said tow truck, and he said, "Can you
You said when you were
rephrase
driving
that?"
a tow truck, you could see forward and sideways.
Okay. I don't want to be. I don't drive a tow truck.
My apologies.
Brennan, I did it. 27 days of trial. So
Yep.
he was like, back at Brennan at all. There's no.
I don't drive a tow truck.
My apologies.
Oh man.
My apologies. Snowplow. Thank you. You can see forward and sideways.
I can see forward, I can see diagonal, and I can see right to left.
When you look right to left, you said you could see about 5 feet.
Correct.
Do the lighting conditions affect how well you can see?
No.
I'll bring
What's
my
the
own
weather?
light.
Yes.
When you're plowing, are you
Alright,
ever looking
so-
at the street in front of you?
Yes.
Are you looking at people's front yards?
Yes.
And so, what did you see as far as the front door of the Albert House that night? Was it open or closed?
It was closed.
The lights on?
I can't answer that for sure.
So now we just get into these, like, Brennan does this all the time too. He gets into this line of questioning and he'll just keep going over and over, just stupid questions over that.
On.
Do you look at every neighbor's front lawn up to the door as you're driving in the snow plowing?
I look to the right and to the left, and my eyes will graze to the yard. Yes, I will look there.
You were saying you have a specific.
Any of you that drive in areas where
What? Yes, I
wildlife
am.
tends to run into.
It's showing on my thing. It is. Okay, let me reshare.
The road, and this might be different for those of you that don't drive in areas.
All right, let me know if that worked. All right.
The trauma of hitting animals either, and B, I would really like to avoid that circumstance, and I will 100% beep, put on my brakes, and do all the things you're probably not supposed to do.
Is it back? Okay. All right. So is this the dumpster coming up? Like, I mean, this is, he remembers this. Oh my God, this whole dumpster thing. You're right. This whole freaking dumpster thing is a dumpster fire, right? Why do you remember these things? Why do you remember the Ford Edge and driving up and down Fairview? Because this is one of the signature events in this town, in this, in this person's life, right? Like, he is a part of this. And I know he doesn't want the attention or everything, but he is a part of it. So it's going to be a big part of his memory. He's going to know that these things, he's going to remember the Ford Edge. He talked to the guy 2 weeks after this. Why would he remember a dumpster? And I hope for God that the jury says, what are you talking? And then, yeah, when we get to recross, he tries to bring the dumpster in and show a picture of it. And it's like, oh my God.
Can you repeat that, please? I'm sorry.
Yes, you said that you looked at the Albert House all the way to the door.
Correct.
Do you have a memory of looking at any other houses all the way to the door?
Yes.
Okay. Which house had a dumpster in front of it?
I don't know. I wasn't paying attention to a dumpster. Dumpster wouldn't be in the front yard.
Are you sure on your route there's no dumpsters in anybody's front yard?
I can tell you there was a dumpster this week.
Like weeks ago.
I'm more interested in January 29, 2020.
I can't answer to that. I don't remember.
A dumpster, 15 by 20.
So at this point, are you sitting there thinking, hey, he doesn't remember seeing a dumpster January 29th, 2022? Or are you asking yourself, maybe he would have remembered if somebody had, I don't know, asked him then?
Oh, it can,
Because the defense questioned him too.
You can't just rely. I will agree with that. You can't just rely on eyewitness testimony, because eyewitness testimony is not always, and I mean, test yourself. Like if you want to think about it, just drive past somebody on the street and then think about, okay, what were they wearing, right? Or if you're sitting somewhere and you see somebody and then look away, look at somebody for a quick glance and then look away from them. Ask yourself, what were they wearing? What color pants were they wearing? What color shirt were they wearing? What was their hair? What color was their hair? Was it short? Was it long? How tall were they? And then look back and see how close you are, because a lot of times you're not there.
2 weeks after this happened. And he's like, yeah, there's a dumpster on my route this week. Maybe if they had asked him within a week or two, he would have known. Funny that.
I think he says, I can't.
I can tell you there was a dumpster this week.
I'm more interested in January 29, 2020.
I can't answer to that. I don't remember.
A dumpster, a 15 by 20.
He remembers the
So at
dumpster.
this point, are you sitting there thinking, maybe he would have remembered if somebody had, yeah, there's a dumpster on my route this week.
Other homes in the neighborhood that night.
I would have then.
I mean, I looked. I saw it. I didn't see a dumpster that would have definitely stuck out.
Okay. You said you had vision as far as your eyes could see.
Yes, they do. That's why you don't talk to the police, because they can, I mean, yeah, they can get you to confess the things you had no idea you were going to confess to. Oh yeah.
What does that mean?
Confess all the damn time.
It means if there were, my eyes were.
Sometimes just to get out of, if you're going to stick somebody in solitary confinement for a long time, after a while, people will say anything. Or after inundating someone over and over and over and over and over again with an idea, you're going to make them believe that idea. Oh yeah, no, that stuff happens. That stuff happens in law enforcement. It happens at the, it happens at the much higher level than like local law enforcement.
I can see as far as they will let me see.
Is that dependent on lighting conditions, darkness, snow?
Correct.
That night, did you have any difficulty paying attention or driving?
I did not.
Did you have a small accident that night?
I did.
Okay, what did you hit?
I hit a portable basket.
I think they talked about this.
Was that part because of the weather conditions? You didn't have a good opportunity to see it?
No, I definitely saw it. I just did not judge enough.
So depth perception. Fair enough.
You said that you went.
I did.
Did they bring you to a parking lot at some point?
They did.
And when they brought you to a parking lot, did they have you go out in the parking lot and look at a Ford Edge?
They did.
And when they had you go out and look at the Ford Edge, did they have you identify that as the type of car?
Yes, they did.
And when you did that, how many cars were in the parking lot?
We had a hockey game, so there were several, at least 100, 150.
Who pointed you to the Ford Edge?
I pointed to it.
Did the investigator take you to the Ford Edge?
No, he did not.
It was just an open parking lot, and he asked you to look around to see if there happened to be a similar car?
No, I told him a Ford Edge. He wanted to make sure I knew what a Ford Edge looked like. I pointed to the Ford Edge, and he was satisfied.
Like that.
So after you said a Ford Edge, you brought you to a parking lot to point out a car?
We were at my place of business. We just walked out the door.
Where was that?
At the Metropolis ice rink.
The rink?
Ice rink, yes.
Did you then meet the investigator later on at a school?
Yes, I did.
And who did you meet at the school?
I met Paul again.
That's what he said.
He wanted to go through my route.
You wanted to go through your route?
That's
Correct.
what I said. He followed me down my route.
Did you choose to meet at the school?
I did.
You did?
I did.
And why did you choose the school?
It was an easier landmark for the gentleman to get to, and it was minutes from my route.
Did you know that former Trooper Proctor's sister worked there?
I had no idea.
You said last year that when you went by...
So that was something too that was brought up today. That Proctor last year on the stand said, "Oh, that they met at the school because they knew that his wife was there, and she actually, or his sister, and she actually called the police, and she, police showed up and nobody said it. It was just a big nothing. I have no idea if they had to. That's it's all about reasonable doubt. No, the defendant doesn't have to prove anything. They have to cast doubt on the prosecutor's theory. Prosecutor has to make everybody believe that it's preposterous if there is another theory. That's what Brennan is trying to do. Brennan is trying to make it not only not feasible, but preposterous that there is any other possibility than John O'Keefe got hit by a car. And it's the defense's job to introduce evidence that disputes that. It doesn't have to, they don't have to prove a completely separate theory. They have to disprove or cast doubt on what the defense says. And so far, I think they're heading in that direction. So
He said multiple times he didn't say his last pass was at 5:30. If his last pass was at 5:30, he wouldn't have seen law enforcement, would he?
all right. So that, back and forth, then we get a little bit of, he's
told
going
the jury
to,
today that it was 6:15.
It's different, but it's not.
He's also said there were multiple passes.
When you plowed that night, did you have any reason to look for somebody who was lying on the side of the yard?
No.
Okay, so this last part, this is really weird too. So we're going to see this. It's like, did you
stop it there?
Did you come back and forth and look up, did you want to
That night is quite a distance from the flagpole at Fairview, isn't it?
No.
About 300 feet?
Roughly.
Difficult to see under those conditions?
No.
Could we have exhibits?
Pulling up what I assume to be dash cam video.
I do.
Okay. At the end of that road, past the streetlight, is Cedar Crest, correct?
Correct.
Is that a fair depiction of the elements that night around that time? Cedar Crest again to go back and forth and watch.
I was on.
So now Brennan's going to accuse him of going back and forth to watch this. He's got all these different timestamps picked out that he sees a vehicle that might have a flashing light or something on top of it. And he's going to say that's, and notice a couple of these. I'm going to play this in a second, run off to the little boy's room for a quick break. But notice when he starts to ask about these, a couple of times it's not in a question form. Now, I think the defense would probably get shut down for not asking a question. But he says, that's you, right? Or that's you again, something along those lines. It's not in the form of a question. It is a statement. That's you. And Lucky has to say, I don't know if that's me or not. So, all right. So here is. Yeah.
Saw law enforcement.
So,
did you?
yeah. Oh, yeah, no, exactly. All right, I'll be right back.
I was on Fairview already when I saw the law enforcement.
Did you drive by Cedar Crest again to go back and forth and watch what was going on, or did you go on your route?
I went on my route, which included Cedar Crest.
Did you keep driving by because you wanted to watch, or did you just leave and do your regular route?
I went and did my regular route.
Could I have 61927, please? And could you play it? If you could back up a little before 61927.
I will say, chat, for everyone who's like this video again, we saw it a lot less this trial than this trial. We have not seen this video ad nauseum at this point. We've seen it a bit.
Is that weather consistent with what it looked like to you?
Not seen it ad
Yes.
nauseum.
Is that you there?
Also, these weather conditions, are they impeding your visibility? Anyone feel substantially impeded? I think it rained harder than that in Los Angeles yesterday because when I was on the phone with Judge Abby, I could hear it hitting her car. And that's LA. Like, this is not wild snow.
I don't know if that's me. Yes, that's me. That is me.
No way! Brennan! Are you fucking kidding me? You're fucking with this man nonstop over the time, and there's a video of his plow not being able to come down the road at 619 when he's trying to come down Fairview. It's on video. Okay. Why don't we just start here? All right, I'm gonna push play and watch and see if Lucky sees himself.
Oh my gosh. I don't put too much thing in the dumpster. I mean, it's a dumpster up by somebody's house. I mean, I don't know that it's. I mean, that's just me. That's just me. Everybody's got their own opinion. I respect that.
On the snowplow.
Yes.
Is that you there?
So yeah, so he gets crap all this time. She's right though. He gets crap all this time about when did you go down? You couldn't, you said it was 5:30 or whatever, and there's a picture of him at 6:19 going by. That's crazy.
I don't know if that. I don't see it. I don't. Yeah.
Is that you again?
That one I can't tell if that was me again.
Could we go to 63514, please?
My opinion, I think the jury
Was that you?
The jury
That didn't even look like a plow.
I think the jury really took. I think the jury respected him. I think the jury believed him. So I mean, but that's just my opinion.
I don't see it. I don't see the truck. I'm sorry.
I don't think that. In my opinion, the dumpster is not a knockout blow. I
Can we
think
go back to 6:35?
especially when you see the video.
That looks like to be a pickup truck. That does not look like my truck.
6:37:45, please.
Are we going to go through every car that passed by? Look, there's cars on the road.
Yes, we're going to go through every car that passed by. Because why not?
Next you again, right?
Again, I can't tell you for sure if that was me.
Those were not your red and orange lights consistent with the earlier ones that went by?
Do other plows have those flashing
What I
lights?
saw the first time was the reflecting tape off the body of my truck.
We go to
I have
7.
a plow
Sir, I know my truck reflecting tape.
tandem together.
It was
tandem.
There's another guy that's working here.
A guy that is a contractor that we work tandem together.
And was he out there that night as
There's another plow out running around.
Who works tandem on the route.
We go to
I have
7.
a plow guy that is a contractor that we work tandem together.
And was he out there that night as well, going by Fairview?
Correct.
Okay. Did you ever tell the private investigator about him?
Yes, I did.
7 o'clock, 22 seconds, please.
Oh God, Brennan is freaking horrible.
When you mentioned Ryan Albert on your direct exam,
All right, so I mean that's it. I think this was not very good cross. That's my opinion. I think the cross sucked. But all right, let's get back to the redirection. I might have to stream a little bit tomorrow because I don't think we're going to get to the rankings today. But so maybe I'll do a quick. Here's what we'll do tomorrow. We'll do a ranking stream.
Asked by Mr. Brennan about whether you saw a dumpster that night. Do you recall that line of questioning?
I wonder if he's going to ask.
In the aftermath of January 29th,
His times haven't really evolved though. He's been consistent about there, and the 5:30 thing you'll find out right now.
Right.
So, and even Emily just said that they weren't talking about times. They were talking last trial about 2 hours here and 3 hours here. He's been consistent with what he's told the investigator, all the FBI. He's been consistent about that. It's been, little things here and there, but
was a dumpster all
it came out. I don't think it came out in testimony that he's
Not
been.
that I'm aware of.
You were asked,
Emily, don't make jokes about a dumpster fire. Don't make jokes about a dumpster fire. Don't make jokes about a dumpster fire.
going through your route with the defense investigator and giving a statement to the defense investigator.
Yes.
How soon after January 29th of 2022 was that?
2 weeks.
Was it something that you saw from the beginning? You just misjudged the distance.
Correct.
Now, finally, with regard to the 5:30 testimony that you gave last year.
Yes.
Did you also testify that the last pass that you tried to make when the police were blocking the scene was about 3 hours after that 3:30 second up and down?
Yes.
So why is it last year that you testified that it was 3 hours later, but you came up with the time of 5:30 as the final time?
As he's asking me these questions, I'm trying to do the math in my head. I'm sorry, math is not my strong suit.
We feel you, sir.
What time was it when you made that final pass, sir?
6:15, 6:30.
I have nothing further.
A good, succinct redirect. How did you get that wrong? Because I was trying to do the math in my head. Watching that testimony last time,
You mentioned you're trying to do the math in your head.
The question was, you started at this time, 30 minutes here, 45 minutes there. I was confused. So I get it.
There's no reason why you would specifically remember certain times on each pass other than trying to remember and give an accounting, right?
Could you rephrase that, please?
Sure. You don't have your watch out on a certain schedule that you have to pass a certain street at a certain time.
Correct.
You weren't marking your times to some event when you were driving up and down the street that night, were you?
No.
So you're trying to go back with your memory and piece it together the best you can.
Correct.
And that's why you're giving...
Okay, so...
When you spoke to those law enforcement officials...
So here's the real Brennan right here. We're seeing the Brennan. Yeah, I know exactly. Yeah. But now we get real Brennan. He couldn't help. He gets himself spooled up. He gets himself spun up. And then so he's just ready to jump back into it. Like
when you were driving up and down the street that night, were you? Schedule that you have to pass a certain street at a certain time.
So I'm going to slow this back down to normal speed just for a minute because I can't really stand his thing, but
Why you would specifically remember certain times on each pass other than trying to remember and give an accounting, right?
oh yeah, no, he does.
Could you rephrase that, please?
Sure. You don't have your
Unless he doesn't a lot of times sound like a jerk.
watch out on a
That's
certain
all I'm
schedule that
saying.
you have to pass a certain street at a certain time.
Correct.
You weren't marking your
He doesn't
times
sound
to some
condescending.
event when you were driving up and down the street that night, were you?
No.
So you're trying to go back with your memory and piece it together the best you can.
Correct.
And that's why you're giving estimates, yes?
Correct.
And when you spoke to those law enforcement officials, not Canton, not state police.
Okay.
And you said at 3 o'clock you saw first
Oh, that's his
responder
point.
vehicles.
Could it have been
That was based on your
different?
memory, wasn't it?
All right, I can't stand it at normal speed. Oh my god. Oh, Jackson could be snide.
Based on
Yeah,
memory.
depends on the witness too.
Right. Do you know that there was a car similar to a Ford Edge in front of 34 Fairview around 6 a.m. that morning?
All right, so Brennan goes on, and then eventually he's gonna get after some Turtle Boy stuff.
Brennan's not asking this necessarily to go to this witness. Brennan, I think, is asking this
You messed up.
to insinuate that the day he met with the defense investigator is the day that this was published online and someone had that information. Investigator that day. Why pushing things on? What is the defense? He's going to try to admit that into evidence, isn't he? This does not go to this witness. This goes to the defense team. The cameraman has decided that the focus will be the blogger standing in the courtroom as a member of the media in this case. Which though they have not said Turtle Boy's name, I presume that's exactly who they're talking about. That is the blogger. They go to sidebar.
Correct.
They went to OnlyFans, back to sidebar. Still.
All right.
Person or
and
persons
now,
were putting out private
now we'll
pictures
get
of
to
you
the
online.
footage
I
here.
don't like that at all.
I did notice.
Didn't want being made this public.
I just have questions
I'm
about
sure-
whether they were
'cause
photos from.
I will
a
be
social media
honest
page.
with you. I did not
I have
see the
questions, but
dumpster this
they're probably not gonna
morning.
get answered.
It took
Chat, don't
me-
answer. I want to know if it comes in.
You learned that they were also dragging your brother into this because of you, correct? And were you aware when people were telling you what was happening?
Defense team, and going to the jurors. You let me know.
Oh, did I
How
miss
you see it.
dumpster
Is it going
footage?
to the defense?
Oh yeah,
Is
I
it
did.
going to
It's
his
the very
testimony?
beginning.
Or
It's a video that I'll stop in for certainly.
Okay.
And sir, do you notice the
Make
big red
myself
dumpster
smaller.
to the right side across from Fairview?
no. Do you?
Yes.
I don't think I've ever seen this video with an angle of the dumpster. This must be facing the other way on Fairview. The dumpster parked in the driveway next to it. Well, parked in a driveway next to a car that is car shaped. Well, car sized, perhaps.
Okay, you can take that down.
He said this was Fairview, but where
Sir,
on
when
Fairview?
we
That must
started the break, I asked you some questions. I showed you a document, asked you if you were aware what was inside.
So yeah, it took me a while. I mean, it took me a while to see the dumpster. I don't know. I don't remember him saying anything about if he would have remembered a dumpster. I don't remember that testimony. So, all right. And then, yeah, I still don't think this cross-examination was what Brennan thought it was going to be. So, all right. Then we have a pretty, I mean, yeah, we'll just go over this quickly. Oh, Emily's awesome. She's one of the smartest folks out there as far as trial watching. Yes, she stops it and talks quite a lot, but a lot of her commentary is worth it, I think. I kind of watch both. Like I said earlier, I watch Andrea a lot, which we'll switch to here. I want to get through this. And yeah, I didn't mean to go 2 hours on Lucky. So is your opinion that she's guilty? I mean, do you think she hit him with her car? Do you think she hit him with her car in the arm? The taillight exploded and cut his arm up. Is that what you think? I mean, honestly, Is that what you think happened? Do you think he got hit by a car in the arm, spun around, hit his head on the ground, and laid there all night, and that's how he died? Well, it doesn't matter. I mean, she can do whatever the hell she wants. Is that what you think? I want to know. Is that your opinion of this case? Are you thinking that she is guilty? I think it's, okay. That's interesting. I think once, okay. I mean, that's one theory. I've thought for, I don't know, since the first trial that there's no way that this was a collision. But, everybody's got their opinion. All right, so then we get this person has been a pharmacist for 30 years. 30 years!
Your daughter's teams.
Yes, I have.
How has she been a pharmacist for 30 years? I just want to get to that.
We've lived there for 22 years.
Where did you grow up? Have you worked as a pharmacist?
So total years is about 30 years as a pharmacist, but I have been at my current job for about 24 years.
She looks fantastic.
I am married.
To whom?
His name is Nicholas Kolakita.
Yeah, I know. 30, 35. Yes. Yes, it is.
This?
How long have you been married for?
24 years.
Do you have children?
I have 2 children.
There is no way a 6,000-pound car hits somebody in the arm going 20 plus miles an hour, and the only damage is some superficial scratches. It just doesn't make any sense. That does not make any sense at all. It just doesn't.
And without giving us their name.
And it does. You say that the phone stopped moving, but if you look back at Whiffin's actual testimony, you saw that there was a broad range of where that phone actually showed up over time. So, I mean,
Names. Can you tell us if you have boys or girls and what their ages are?
So I have 2 girls.
Oh, anyway, 30 years as a pharmacist. And
raising your children in Canton and attending their.
Right, but the problem with that was it was not specific data. It was very general as to where it was. So there's a lot. Yeah, we'll see. I'm gonna wait until we get all of the people through. So
their sporting events.
I don't know how much I put into ManShanon's theory of the case. So we'll see. Maybe they'll come back. I just feel like it just physically, I think the physics of it just are the thing that really bugs me.
I'm assuming. Have you met other parents with children on your daughter's teams?
Yes, I have.
Specifically, did you come to know Jennifer and Matthew McCabe?
Yes, I have.
And is that the way that you came to know them?
Well, the speculation was
typically that's how we came to become.
So I don't know. I mean, she was a good witness. She didn't have a lot. She just basically laid foundation on how the night went.
2022.
So she went out. She spent the night, talking to Karen.
The Prosecutor team.
And excuse me, was
so the speculation was that she was going to testify that after the event, after the whole thing, that she was pressured to, testify a different way, or she had pressure on her, and that there was supposedly ring footage of this. But I think they tried to get this in. I really do, but I don't think Bev let it in. And there was not going to be a motion filed. This was stuff that they did at sidebar. And this is what a couple people have said, that they thought maybe that they would try to get this in, that basically she was pressured by Jen McCabe, but Bev would not let it in. So
Waterfall Bar and Grill.
I believe I got there approximately 9:30 or so.
And when you first arrived there, who was there, if anyone, that you recognized?
I think there's more evidence this time that it's more than just a conspiracy theory, and it brings out the reasonable doubt. It's all about reasonable doubt. If you can see another alternative, then you can't convict someone of murder specifically.
So my husband was there, and then I recognized Jennifer and Matt McCabe.
And what happened after you got there?
Yeah.
So after I got there, I walked in and I said to my husband, I'm like, where's everybody from the basketball team? And he said, I don't know. They all sort of split up. He's like,
now, was there a point when you were going to leave the waterfall before they closed up for the night?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Yeah. So, I mean, she was just a very good,
You notice about John?
almost a character witness for Karen. But not specifically, just
Conversation with Karen. Was it an easy conversation back and forth?
Very easy.
Where were you located within the waterfall while you were having this conversation?
We were at a I don't remember where we were talking. We were sitting down talking at a table.
So I think the testimony from Barrows yesterday, and I think more than specific evidence, it's lack of evidence, especially of a car collision. And so I'm very interested in ARCCA's newest testimony, because they have done more than they did originally. Originally, they just, theorized that the taillight was smashed with a glass. And so, and that is a feasibility, that the taillight was smashed with a glass. That's why you found that glass, and you found other glass that didn't have anything to do with it. That's a very good possibility. And so I think there's doubt here. I think there is reasonable doubt in this case. So we'll see. I'm very interested in the next few days. That's the next few days are going to tell us a lot. So yeah, this, and in fact, when this person, when she came on the stand, and I said she's been a pharmacist for 30 years, I went in and showed Kat, my wife, and I'm like, she has been a pharmacist for 30 years, and that's like an 8-year school. So it's like if she went to college immediately at 18, and I mean,
But I'm not sure.
And
this is genetics, I'm pretty sure. And then I guess she's got a good skincare regimen. I think that she could probably, if she had a YouTube channel about about her skincare regimen, she might do pretty good.
While you were talking with her,
where exactly, Patty? It's so weird. Yeah, but they didn't arrive at 4. They didn't get there at 4. That's not what the testimony was. So it's all good. It actually, it all coincides. It was not 4. They did not get there around 4-ish and find it at 5-ish. That's not what the testimony was. So, okay. We did not get to the rankings today, though. But I think we'll do a quick stream tomorrow before I do editing. And we will rank. It's just, yeah, but how many murders have had blood collected in red Solo cups and nobody investigated anything? Or, I mean, this investigate. So they could have proved this. They could have proved this one way or another if they would have done a proper investigation. But the investigation has been the most ridiculous thing. The investigation has been one of the worst investigations ever. So, yeah, no, they showed that that it was absolutely possible that the car was already in the Sally port before they found the glass. It was. So, anyway. It's all of the stuff. It's all of the things. It's all of the investigation thing. It's the wrong times on every report. It's the not having evidence logs. We swabbed the shirt, but we didn't swab the shirt until 4 weeks later. We didn't talk to people in the investigation until 2 years later. Evidence, the little bit of evidence that they did collect sat around for weeks before they ever turned it in. There's no actual log of this evidence. The blood was sitting right by the car in the Sallyport garage in a Stop and Shop bag in Solo cups. So, I mean, it's preposterous that they probably could have had a better case if they would have done a better job. We seized the car at 5:30 was what the report says. Well, you seized the car at 2:00 in the afternoon. That's when you decided to seize this car, and you decided it after having conversations with the people that were in the house the night before. So I can definitely see that. And you've got somebody hit by a car that only has a head wound. That's it. So I'm just skeptical of all of it. And in my mind, there is enough doubt. And I've had that opinion the entire time I've been following this from the last investigation, or the last trial. And the FBI report, all the stuff the FBI did, all of that, they actually turned over the phones from the other people, the butt dials. Oh my God, the butt dials. We didn't even get the butt dials in this trial. It's preposterous. You can't call somebody 7 times and hang up before they answer their phone and that's a butt dial. It just doesn't happen that way. So, but we don't have that in this trial, which is kind of a bummer. So, but anyway, all right. It's my 2 hours. I'm going to get some dinner. But I appreciate the back and forth. I really do. I appreciate your opinion. I appreciate your advocacy for your opinion, and that's that is in, like I said, it's your opinion, and I appreciate you bringing it here. I appreciate the back and forth. Would you cover that up to enhance? It's not a conspiracy theory, though. You keep saying conspiracy theory, but I don't see it as a conspiracy theory. I see it as a horrible investigation that does not have a strong enough case to be convicted of this crime. That's what I see. I don't see, and I see a very zealous, ridiculous. So, I mean, this agency has shown that they will cover stuff up because I'm just going to say Sandra Birchmore. So they've shown that, yes, they will cover stuff up. And they'll do it for a cop all day long. Because that's the reason the feds got involved, because of a young girl who was groomed for many, many years. And so, no, I for the case, yes. I don't believe he was hit by a car. I do not believe that he was hit by a car. That's just but that's more of a, I don't know if it's gut feeling or just the way the whole plays, but oh yeah, no, exactly. We're in such a weird place right now because, you know, police, we need the police to protect us, but we also need police to not be overzealous, crazy people. So, you know, and I would not want to be a police officer now. And the way that police officer treated now, you're not going to get the best police officers to come on. So I think we've got a tough road to hoe. And I'm glad I live where I live and I don't live somewhere crazy. So, okay. Thanks. Thank you for the back and forth. I appreciate it. I like it. And I'll be back tomorrow. I was not going to stream. I was just going to edit the show. As you can see, the reason I have this channel is because I am making a funny show about making fun of the government. So, and on July 4th, we will be releasing the first few episodes of that show. And hopefully we get some support to finish filming the rest of it. So please stand by for that. And like I said, it's making fun of all the misinformation stuff that's around. And, you know.
Introducing Agent Charles Walker from the Federal Enforcement Division, or Fed.
Misinformation is getting to be a very serious problem.
Did not mean to do that. That was my outro. That as outro, not play. Oop, hang on. I did that. Okay, I am going to go. I am going to leave you with one of the shorts for the show, introducing one of our characters in the show. And so, yeah, so please, and like I said, I'm going to stream tomorrow night because I want to go through the witness list because it's not been as crazy as last trial, but we've had some crazy witnesses. So I want to do a ranking of the witnesses. So tune in tomorrow night. We'll rank our witnesses, and then I will continue editing my show after that. So I think a pretty quick stream tomorrow night, but we're going to keep doing it. So, all right, enjoy this little short introducing one of our agents, and I will see you tomorrow.
Introducing Agent Charles Walker from the Federal Enforcement Division, or Fed.
Misinformation is getting to be a very serious problem. It really interferes with what we are trying to do.
And what are you trying to do?
Excellent question. I'm afraid that's classified. You don't have the clearance.
Agent Walker is always a team player and appreciates the efforts of his colleagues.
You know those bum idiots. This is all them. We had a solid case.
Agent Walker is a master interrogator and would never take things out of context to influence an interview.
My cousin Mindy is the bomb. I'm just seeing a lot of incendiary and violent language here. Somebody could see a call to action in these words.
A call to action for what?
Well, you tell us. They're your words. You wrote them.
Agent Walker, a calm, patient presence in the fight against misinformation.
These people can't even do stuff that's actually good enough for government work.